Hello and welcome back to New Mama Meg. I'm Meg. It's nice to see you again. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the products that I found most useful and most helpful to me as a new breastfeeding mom. So before I had Finn, I knew I definitely wanted to try breastfeeding, but I made it a point of not putting the pressure on myself that I absolutely had to do it. I know that it's something that's really, really hard. There's just a lot of pressure around breastfeeding in general. I firmly believe that fed is best, so if you can breastfeed, great, but if you can't, formula is also great. So I think we should just be supportive of whatever the mom chooses to do. With that said, I was fortunate to be able to breastfeed. Finn is almost 11 months old and we're still going strong with the breastfeeding. I've been asked about weaning and things like that, and I haven't even thought about it yet. So although I am able to breastfeed, I can definitely tell you it wasn't always easy. And 10.5 months down the road, it's still not easy. But we do it every day, many, many times a day. I feel so fortunate that I am able to breastfeed because I know he loves it and I love it. It's very special for us, so I feel very lucky. As I mentioned, breastfeeding is not easy. It's not like the baby just pops out and you know what to do and the baby knows what to do. Yes, there's a bit of natural instinct on both ends, but at the same time, you as a new mom need help and the baby also needs help to kind of learn where to go, what to do, and a million other different things. So I'm gonna share with you some of the products that were the most helpful to me as a new breastfeeding mom. So let's get into it. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I post videos every Friday about all things related to being a new mom and a new parent. So if you find this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe. If you know someone who is about to have a baby or maybe they just had a baby and might find my content useful, make sure you send it to them as well. You can also follow me on Instagram at newmama_Meg, and I just do some fun stuff on there, like Finn and I talk about our day. There's some Instagram reels on there, just like goofy stuff. We just have fun on there. So make sure you check it out. So let's get into today's video. So this first product I want to talk about is a nipple shield. So a nipple shield looks like this. It's just a very thin, I want to say silicone little shield that goes right over your nipple. I had never heard of these until my midwife told me about them 2 to 3 days after Finn was born. And what a nipple shield does is it covers your nipple and then it just gives the baby something a little extra to grab onto. The baby's sucking reflex starts when they can feel the nipple on the roof of their mouth, which again, I didn't know this until I had a baby. And so sometimes people need a little help, and so that's when the shields come in handy. There is a little bit of, not controversy, but some people aren't crazy about nipple shields because it can cause some nipple confusion. If the baby gets used to this, you might have a hard time taking it away when you don't need it anymore. When I was first starting out breastfeeding, this came in super, super handy. If I hadn't had this, I might have given up on breastfeeding, to be honest with you, because I was never sure if Finn was getting enough. I wasn't sure if he was latching on properly. I started using the nipple shields. I could hear him making that clucking sound. I could hear him swallowing. So I knew that it was making a difference. You can get these at a bunch of places. I think I got mine at Walmart. These are the Medela brand. There's also the Lancelo, I don't really know how to say that. And I'm sure there are other brands as well. You can get them at the pharmacy, Walmart, Babies R Us, just wherever you would buy like bottles and nipples for your bottles, things like that. These also come in handy big time when your nipples start to get really sore. You can just use this to cover it up. The baby isn't sucking directly on your nipple, they're sucking on the shield instead. So if you need to use it for, a few feeds just to cover it up and give your nipple a little bit of time to heal, then that is a great use for these as well. You can get them in a bunch of different sizes. Just make sure you read the package before you buy them. I just found these super helpful. I personally don't know another mom who did use them, but because I personally had so much success with them, I do like to share that this was a huge reason for that. Leads me into my next product that I loved was nipple butter or nipple cream. Someone will definitely buy this for you as a baby shower gift or something. It's just kind of a staple for all new moms. You gotta have some nipple butter. This is the Earth Mama Organics nipple butter. I liked it. I wouldn't say it was like the best thing I've ever used, but it was good and it's nice and natural and things like that. You can also get a medicated version. So to get this, I got a prescription from my midwife and picked it up at the pharmacy. But you put it on your nipples when they're sore. It's safe for the baby, it's safe for you. And this is just a lifesaver because if you're a breastfeeding mom, you know how sore you can get. Next up is a Haka. So this is another thing I had never heard of until I had a baby. And this thing is just amazing. So they're not super expensive. You can get them on Amazon for like $18 to $25, just depending on what brand you get. It's just silicone, just a squishy little bottle. And what you do is you flip back that part, put it over your boob, flip it back. Whatever suction is created catches the drops of milk that come out of the boob that you're not feeding out of. And yes, I'm saying boob, sorry. whatever, we're just going with it. So as you're breastfeeding from one side, the milk that's coming out of the other side is falling right into the haka. This is how I started to build a little bit of a stash in the freezer for Finn. So it's not often that we use bottles. We did for a couple months just because we wanted to try something different. But instead of having to pump all the time, I could use whatever was falling into the haka and I could freeze it and store it until we needed to use it. So sometimes it's nothing, you'll get a couple drops, but other times you can get 2 to 3 ounces, maybe even more, just depending on your own supply. And that's just milk that would have gone to waste otherwise. So if you just have this handy, you put it on while you're feeding on the other side, catches the drips, and then you can save that milk to use it later. It's actually a super cool product, I love this. And my sister-in-law recently told me about a hack that you can use with the haka. If you have a clogged milk duct, you can fill it with some warm water and Epsom salt, and then you can put it on, and the steam that's created will help with your clogged milk duct. Pretty cool, pretty handy little tool. So next up are nursing pads. So these are just cotton pads that have a little sticky on them right there. And these go inside your bra. When you're a new breastfeeding mom and your milk starts to come in, sometimes you have a lot of it and sometimes it comes out when the baby's not feeding. So it can come through your bra, it can come through your shirt, and then all of a sudden you're walking around with these wet nipple spots. Whatever, everyone knows that's what happens when you're breastfeeding, but to help with that, you can just put these in your bra. Super easy, you don't really notice that they're there, and it'll just catch any dribbles that happen to come out. If you're not using a haka, then this is great to keep in the other side while you are feeding so that it is catching that milk that's coming out. I tried the reusable ones. You can buy reusable ones that you can throw in the washer. What I found with them, this is really weird and I don't know if it was just me, but they had the grossest smell. Like it doesn't matter how many times I wash them, they just smelled so gross. I don't know if it was when my milk mixed with this cotton or the, whatever it was, I don't know, but I could not stand the smell. It just seemed yucky and a little unsanitary. So that's why I went back to the cotton ones. So yes, they are wasteful and I don't love that about them, but I just felt more comfortable using these ones and they didn't smell. That might just be me. I don't know what it was, but it was yucky and I didn't like it. The next thing I want to talk about is comfortable bras. So notice I didn't say nursing bras. When I was kind of collecting all the things I'd need for once the baby was born, obviously nursing bras was on my list of things I needed to buy. And nursing bras are quite expensive, I find, and I didn't really know what I was supposed to look for as a first-time mom. So I just bought, whatever I found online with the little clippy because I thought that's what you had to do. You buy the one with the clip, you pull it down, that's how you feed the baby. I quickly learned that I hated nursing bras. I hated them. I found them super uncomfortable. I found that the fabric underneath always got wet. I don't know why, maybe I was doing something wrong, but I just didn't like them. So what I ended up doing was I would find wireless bras. So just things like this, just like sports bra style bras. Just plain old like that. Because they didn't have a wire underneath, I could easily just pull it up whenever I needed to feed him. So there were no flaps that I was dealing with. I didn't have to pull anything aside or down or whatever. I just had to pull it up and I found that super, super easy. This might not work so well if you have a larger chest, but I do not. So I was able to wear things like sports bras or just wireless bras. This is something that will be a personal preference for everyone. So you might love nursing bras. I just personally don't. But it also made it easier for me to find things that were comfortable and that didn't necessarily have to be specific to nursing. Also with the wireless bras or sports bras, they usually don't have a clasp at the back, which makes it even better. When you have a baby and you're breastfeeding, you have to wear a bra all the time. So gone are the days when you can sleep and not wear a bra. But because I'm wearing the wireless sports bras, there is no clasp in the back, so it makes it a lot more comfortable. With that said, I recently started wearing the nursing tank tops to bed because they're not as stiff as nursing bras and they're quite comfortable for sleeping in. So I will say I do enjoy nursing tank tops, but definitely not nursing bras. They just were not for me. Next up is a breastfeeding pillow. So I have the Boppy. Looks like this. Ta-da. And this was something I used all the time when he was really little. So I actually had 2 of them, one that I kept next to my bed and one that I kept in the family room because we spent a lot of time in there. And as a new mom, it takes a long time to learn how to hold your baby when you're breastfeeding. You don't just hold them up there and they know what to do. So it takes a long time to learn what hold works best for you and your baby, what hold your baby likes the most, different things like that. And that's where the Boppy comes in handy. I also noticed that when I was breastfeeding, my posture was horrible, absolutely horrible. And I was always hunched over trying to make sure that I was bringing myself closer to the baby, whereas it's the other way around. You're supposed to bring the baby closer to you. And so once I started using the Boppy, I noticed that because he was higher up, I didn't have to bend over so much or taunt myself that I shouldn't be bending over so much. So it just made it a much more comfortable experience for me and for Finn too, because he got to lie on this comfy pillow. So he probably loved it. As he got bigger, I didn't need to use it as much. And we're at the point now where we don't use it at all. I kind of use it as like a backrest while I'm sitting on the couch. But he doesn't need to use it anymore because he knows what to do and I know what to do at this point. But as a new mom, I found it so helpful, just making the experience so much more comfortable. This is the only thing I didn't like about the boppy, is I found that this hole was a little bit small. So when you're putting it around your body, and like I have a short torso or something, I don't know, it's weird. But I found it like the sides were really uncomfortable to sit with. So I don't know, you can kind of turn it, which works, but I just found that always a little bit annoying. So you can get a breastfeeding pillow that's more of an L shape, and then you just put it here and you have it on the one side. And I think that might be better, so maybe I'll try that with my next baby. I don't know. We'll see. I already have 2 of these, so maybe I'll choose these. But personal preference, try it out. Overall, awesome product. I absolutely love this. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about, there are so many products out there that claim to boost your milk supply, increase your milk supply, all those things. So although I don't believe there's like a magic product on the market, I do think there are things that you can do or eat or take to help a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't think it makes all the difference in the world, but I do think it helps a little bit. So obviously there's the milk tea. And I did find that this helped with milk supply, but I did find that the milk seemed very watery. And I don't know if this is because of the tea or if because I was pumping or it was because of the time of day, I don't know. But I just always found that the milk seemed more watery than if I hadn't had the tea. So I kind of stopped having the tea because I wanted to make sure it was like good quality fatty milk that was coming out of me. Something that I read talked about chia seeds and flax seeds being good for milk supply. So I started adding them to my diet every single day. So I have them, whether it's in a smoothie or oatmeal or yogurt, whatever it is, I usually just add them to my breakfast. It's super easy, you can't taste them, and even if it doesn't help with your milk supply, those are just 2 good things to add to your diet anyway. And then another little secret thing that I found was brewer's yeast. So it is so gross. Like this, even the smell, thinking about the smell, just, oh, it's so nasty. But I did find that this made a huge difference for me in terms of my milk supply. I would add this, again, with the chia seeds and flax seeds to my oatmeal or my yogurt or whatever it was. It does have a really strong taste, so it can be hard to get down, but I did find that it made a big difference for me. I would just buy it at the local bulk store, or we have Bulk Barn around here, so I would go to Bulk Barn and just buy it there. It's not that expensive, it's kind of yucky, but it's worth it. So I know I just kind of plowed through a bunch of different products, and I actually didn't know that I was gonna talk about that many products, but those are all things that I found were super helpful in my breastfeeding journey. Something I didn't talk about was pumping. I do have a pump. I used it for a little while, and I'll probably use it again when I go back to work, but right now I don't use it. If you're interested in learning about the pump that I have or knowing more about it, if I like it, if I don't like it, all those things, just let me know in the comments below. The good thing about all these products is none of them are super expensive. So if you are having trouble breastfeeding and these things can make your life a little bit easier, then I would recommend getting them or putting them on your baby registry. Also, I want to reiterate that breastfeeding is not easy. It's very hard. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask a lactation consultant, your midwife, your doctor, whoever, because I know it can be really challenging and you might want to give up a million times. But if you don't want to give up, then make sure you ask for the help. If you do and you switch to formula, no judgment. You do what's best for you and your baby. Whether that's continuing breastfeeding, maybe it's switching to formula, maybe it's half and half, maybe it's some pumping, maybe it's not. Whatever you do is best for you guys. So you do you enjoy the journey, and just continue to be the awesome mom that you are. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If I've forgotten anything or you have any products that you really liked on your breastfeeding journey, let me know in the comments below. And that's it. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next week. Bye.